This is my healthy weight loss journey and the honest truth with pictures. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is pjsthriving and it is my healthy weight loss journey where I learn and share healthy prepared meals and snacks and everything in the diet world. Today I want to discuss a topic about how I got where I am and what I need to do to deal with the issues, emotional and mentally, in this journey so I don't find myself there again. It's very important to figure this out and work on the emotional issues as we go through this journey. So I had to research and find some pictures that I did let get taken because I avoided them at all costs. There I had to dig deep and figure out what I was dealing with during that time that I started gaining the weight. And the honest truth is I had been gaining a few pounds each year, but I really started gaining weight around the year maybe 2014, 2015. Now I'm 5'8" and I had always been right around 135 pounds to 140, and I wore a size 6 in pants. So I would have to say the last 5 to 6 years I packed on approximately 80 pounds. And during that time is where my family came back into my life. My mother had a massive stroke back in the summer of 2007, but we weren't speaking and we hadn't been. So from this stroke, she was paralyzed on the whole right side of her body and she was in a wheelchair. She was incontinent and in a diaper and had to be taken care of full time. By 2014 and 2015, I was starting to be really tough on my father, taking care of her. He was also still working full time and he was like 60 some years old about that time. My mother really just hated her life and started to give up. My father really started to call me a lot, wanting help. And I live all the way in South Carolina and they lived all the way out in Seattle, Washington. So at that point I was going out there at least 2 to 3 times a year to do all the kind of spring cleaning and taking care of my mom and doing girl things with her that my dad just didn't think about. But it also just gave my dad, either whether I went a week or 2 weeks, it gave my dad a little break from my mom. By 2016, the beginning of 2016, my mother passed away, and then I convinced and helped my father sell the house. And then, you know, the plans were for him to move to South Carolina because he is an advanced COPD and advanced emphysema, and he had no one out there to help him in Washington. So by the year 2017, was the big move, getting him here and finding him a new house to live in. He bought a new house because he's still kind of on his own. So, but my husband at that time was diagnosed with melanoma cancer in the eye socket. So I was dealing with my husband and my family. Now, my family was very broken when I was little. I ran away when I was about 12 or 13 years old and I never went back. There was every type of abuse in our house from both parents, and I left it. And I was fortunate enough to land with people who were strong, loving people and helped put me on the right path, on the right road. Now, I had cut my family off completely because I needed to learn boundaries. So it was around 1980 that I left and walked away from them all. And I was sporadically back in touch once in a while, and around 2006 I had it. So by 2006 it had been like 25, 26 years. So I was out with without my family that whole time, and I was out to get everyone back together and have a real family. I assumed so much time had went by and it would be okay that everyone had changed, but I was so wrong, and they are still so dysfunctional. And I've been sucked in and running around trying to fix everyone and everything to have a family. And I feel like this last 2 years it's hit me that I'm not happy with that situation and they can't be fixed, and I will never get that family that I wanted. Last year, we all did that Ancestry.com test to see where our roots came from. And then I also learned that my siblings are half siblings and that my dad wasn't even my real father, and that he has known that since before I was even born. When he came back from Vietnam War, he had to evict a man living with my mother, and that she was already 4 months pregnant with me. I was lucky that people were contacting me from my biological father's side because we shared such a strong DNA match. My biological father has been deceased since about 1974, but I have more siblings and I have cousins and aunts and uncles. I guess I just have some issues that I have to go through now, that I know the truth about my father, both of them, and I don't feel like there's such an obligation to my living dad anymore. He is the one that was an abuser. My mother was. Other than this man is the one who abused me and neglected me and lied to me my whole life. But I am the one that had him move closer to us. And now he has also been diagnosed with a lung cancer, so there's a part of me that feels stuck now. And I feel extremely guilty for how I'm feeling about that. My brother now lives with my father, and he is in advanced Parkinson's disease stages, which was caused by a head injury that was from my mother at an early age, and that my father did nothing about to stop it or get treated. The house was raided this last year because my brother was watching and searching for child pornography. And during the raid, my father admitted that he felt it was his fault because of the abuse that he put us through, that he was actually also looking at child pornography himself as well. Finding all of that out just brought a lot back. And now I just feel like I'm really emotionally stressed over this, and I found that I like to eat, and it's chocolate and cake and carbs and all the good stuff. I just feel stuck, and I'm helping my dad find another place to live for my brother. And we just put an offer in on a piece of very small property with a small mobile home that was foreclosed on, so it's very cheap. But my dad wants him to have something stable for the rest of his life, for whatever life he may have left, because he feels so guilty. But now we're all, we're making sure that the wills are done, power of attorney and end of life planning, and all of that is being done for my dad, and I have been put over as executor on this will and property, which has got my brother in a tizzy, because I'm not technically his father's child. My brother only sees the dollar signs and doesn't do anything really to help him out. But he lives in his house rent-free and then stays in his room all day on his computer. He is stuck because of his Parkinson's disease to a point, but he doesn't take care of himself either. He admits to using my dad because if it's half of his fault that he is the way he is also, but he's also very lazy and he does not take care of himself at all. And we share no love. There's a love loss as siblings, and he knows how I feel, and we will never be close. He is sick in the head and won't do anything about it as an adult, except blame everyone else and make excuses for it. And he knows once my dad goes, he's basically on his own. And my dad knows this, and that's why he's in such a rush right now to get him settled. My dad is an advanced COPD and advanced emphysema, and we don't know if they will be able to do anything for him on the lung cancer. We'll find that out on the 28th. So as you can see by the pictures, where I was and where I am now, the emotional and mental stress has turned me into a stress eater. And there are times that I find myself binging on foods in private. So let's go through the pictures. The first two that are coming through now, I was about 135 to 140 pounds. This next set of pictures is when I started putting on a little weight. I was graduating from culinary school and restaurant management with 3 different degrees and 4 certificate degrees. And this is also the time that I learned about different food cultures, different types of food, and God, I loved it all. I liked all of it. These next 2 pictures were probably about 10 years ago. The next 2 pictures are, I would say, within this past 2 years. And this last picture is the most recent picture recently, where I have lost about 25 pounds. I've been playing with pictures with my mom, my biological father, and myself, and I found these pictures. I tried to find them, each one within that same year, somewhere around 20-ish. We were each somewhere around 20. And you know, growing up, I never felt like I had any similarities with the people that I grew up with. And now I do. I have similarities. Now I want to just point out a little trip because I'm kind of tripped out about this. The family I grew up in was dysfunctional. There was a lot of issues with abuse and going in and out of foster homes. Now my new biological family are all mostly, okay, so they're very educated, and they're all in some type of child protection, whether it's social workers, foster parents, or they work with children, children behavioral counselors. Now, isn't that just the opposite of the family that I grew up in? Well, it's also awesome, though. I think it's pretty cool. So, meanwhile, back here where I am, everyone knows that I touched on something in my last video last week. Everyone knows that I'm on a diet, and everyone also knows that I'm trying to lose weight. And some of them make comments that seem like it's a dig, and you know, it just kind of puts me down. It's just negative. It's the negativity about the whole diet thing. And then I also have some that just don't care that I'm trying to lose weight, and they bring me stuff that they know people on diets shouldn't have. Yesterday I got a large bag of candy. Now, I can't say that they're deliberately trying to sabotage my diet, but they sure weren't thinking about it when they bought it. Now, we also recently just got the actual report on my dad's tumor in his right lung, and it says abnormal malignancy tumor. So they know I'm stressed. I'm sure that's why they just got me this big old bag of chocolate. Oh, I have to be strong. Now, I did take my measurements, and they are all slightly lower than last month, so I'm super excited about that. And my weight loss was not 2 to 3 pounds, but still a loss this week, so I'm not complaining. Last week I was 210.6 pounds, and this week I measured in at 209 pounds. So it's still a 1.2 pound loss. And last weekend we went on a hike to a waterfall, and my legs were sore for several days. And then like 4 times this week, I went to some property that we had and needs to get cleaned off. So I was using a weed whacker and a weed eater, and we're cleaning it so we can rent the property out. So my legs and arms got absolutely no break this week. And since I was doing all of that, I did not do my other regular exercises. There you have it. It's the honest truth of how I got where I am today. Now I have to work through this. I have to stay strong and stampede through it. I just really need to take care of myself, and I have to keep that my main focus. If you are new here, please click that like and subscribe, and click that bell so you'll get notified when I put up new videos. And thanks for watching. If you're already a subscriber, I really gotta say thank you guys for watching and supporting my journey, because it's really a journey. It does mean a whole lot to me that I have people that I can kind of chit chat with when I need to. And as always, people, wear your mask, stay safe, and have a great week. Thanks, guys.